You are standing at school. You want to go to your friend's house who lives in Sandapur. Study the following image and tell in which direction are you supposed to go. Right again. Northeast is a valid answer. The study of the physical features of the Earth and its atmosphere and of human activity as it affects and is affected by these, including the distribution of populations and resources, land use, and industries.
Nice work. You chose geography and it is correct.
Dash map shows geographic features such as deserts, rivers, oceans, mountains.
Bravo. Physical is the answer. On the map, the circles, triangles, and squares are all examples of solid response. Symbols is a valid choice.
Dash shows the history of a region and boundaries have changed over time. Special purpose map shows the location or distribution of physical or human features.
Correct response. Historical map is the most accurate answer.
A dash is a representation or a drawing of the Earth's surface. Valid point. Maps is true.
Dash map shows where a nation's natural resources are located.
Sharp thinking. Resource is the right choice.
Maps showing natural features of the Earth are called dash.
Well done. Physical maps is the right choice.
Observe the image carefully, then choose the correct option. Great job. Compass is the accurate answer. Dash. All the circles represent the same amount of space. Well picked. Mercator is the correct answer.
Dash shows geographic features and political features. Well reasoned. Physical political is the correct choice.
Dash. Map shows a larger perspective of location. Great thinking. Inset is the right choice. When we want to learn about the entire Earth, we can use dash. But when we want to learn about a part of the Earth, like a country, we use dash. You chose globes, maps, and it is correct. Dash map shows the population level in an area. Nicely done. Population density is a solid answer. Which part of a map is represented by a star? You got it. Your choice capital is right. The least explosive type of volcano is called clear logic. Your choice basalt plateau is sound and 100% true. Dash map, which compiles data including satellite images, routes, business locations, etc., and compiles it into a single virtual image. Excellent. Digital map is a brilliant choice. A representation or a drawing of the Earth's surface or a part of it drawn on a flat surface according to a scale is called a dash. You're right. Map is the correct answer. A compass rose shows dash on most maps.
Right choice. Directions is the best answer.
The Ice Age ended about dash a years ago. Good thinking. 14,000 is the right answer.
The fire depth is dash of the school.
Nice selection. East is the correct and valid answer. Which of the type of map is this? On track. Political map is the correct answer. This map is an example of a dash. Smart pick.
Climate map is the correct choice.
What does letter B represent?
Smart move. Asia is an accurate answer.
Lemon Street runs dash.
Strong choice. North and south is the right answer.
True or false? Flat maps are more accurate than globes because globes can distort the shape or size of a country.
Good job. Your answer false works well here.
A map scale indicates that 1 cm equals 10 km. Two cities are 8 cm apart. How far apart are they in real life? Correct. 80 km is the right answer.
What is the name of the line of longitude that separates the globe into eastern and western hemispheres? Perfect. Prime meridian is the correct choice. When you know where the north is, you need to find the east or the west in order to find other directions. Exactly. False makes sense and it is right choice.
When large areas like continents or countries are to be shown in paper, then we can use a dash scale map.
Excellent choice. Small is the right answer. Dash computer-based system that store and use information linked to geographic location.
Right again. Geographic information systems is a valid answer. What type of map would be helpful if you were looking for an area that had a lot of mining jobs?
Strong choice. Resource map is the right answer.
Dash are drawings which reduce the entire world or a part of it to fit inside a sheet of paper.
Clear logic. Your choice maps is sound and 100% true.
Dash is the ratio between the actual distance on the ground and the distance shown on the map. You chose scale, and it is correct. This map uses a dash showing lines of longitude and latitude that can help you find locations.
Smart move. Grid is an accurate answer.
Dash people who make up maps must be careful not to distort too much in their projections.
Correct. Cartographers is the right answer. True or false? Humans can affect the environment, but the environment can't affect humans. Sharp thinking. False is the right choice.
The maps which provide information about roads, buildings, railways, rainfall are called.
Well picked. Thematic maps is the correct answer.
On the basis of the scale used map is of two types: large scale map and short scale map.
Smart pick. True is the correct choice.
Dash relative size. How much space on a map corresponds to distance in the real world?
Great job. Scale is the accurate answer.
A map's dash shows how much space on the map represents a given distance on the land.
Well done. Scale bar is the right choice.
The direction arrow that says N is pointing towards dash sh and is called the dash line.
Good job. Your answer north. North works well here.
What map feature tells you the ratio between size in real life and size in the map?
Nice selection. Scale is the correct and valid answer. What type of map would you use if you wanted to find the countries bordering Egypt? You're right. Political is the correct answer.
Which imaginary line divides the Earth into the northern and southern hemispheres?
Correct response. Equator is the most accurate answer.
A drawing of Earth or a part of it on a flat surface according to scale is called. Nice work. You chose maps and it is correct.
When large areas like continents are shown on a small paper, then there is a dash.
Excellent choice. Small scale is the right answer.
What is the drawing mainly based on memory and spot observation and not to scale?
You got it. Your choice sketch is right. To show a large are like countries and continents on a map, a small scale is used.
Right choice. True is the best answer.
What map feature tells you cardinal directions?
Valid point. Compass is true.
Most maps contain an arrow with the letter dash at the upper right-hand corner.
Well reasoned. N is the correct choice.
A large area of land with common features that sets it apart from other areas.
Excellent. Region is a brilliant choice.
This is a symbol that shows the cardinal and intermediate directions on a map.
Perfect. Compass rose is the correct choice.
The internationally accepted common signs and symbols used on maps are called.
Great thinking. Conventional symbols is the right choice.
A rough drawing of an area based on memory, drawn without a scale, is called a.
Exactly. Sketch makes sense and it is right choice. The needle of a magnetic compass always points to the north-south direction. Bravo. True is the answer.
An imaginary line or meridian measuring east or west of the prime meridian.
Good thinking. Longitude is the right answer.
What is the percent of the Earth's total land of the continent Antarctica?
On track. 9.5 is the correct answer.
If we want to know the length and breadth of a room, we can refer to a dash.
Nicely done. Plan is a solid answer.
There are many different dash, or ways of mapping Earth on a flat surface.
Solid response. Projections is a valid choice. Does a parallel or a meridian split the northern and southern hemispheres? Well,
Smart move. Parallel is an accurate answer.
Mountains, valleys, plateaus, plains, depression etc. are shown by dash is.
on track. Relief map is the correct answer.
A large-scale map is used to show large areas like countries on a paper.
Nicely done. False is a solid answer.
The two types of scale maps are small-scale maps and large-scale maps.
Valid point. True is true.
Dash model of the Earth with the same round shape as the Earth itself.
Good thinking. Globe is the right answer.
A drawing of the Earth's surface on a flat surface, according to scale.
Well reasoned. Map is the correct choice. To locate states and capitals of a country, which type of map is used? Strong choice. Political map is the right answer.
Imaginary lines that run from left to right are an example of what?
Smart pick. Latitude is the correct choice.
Which type of map shows you government borders and names of cities?
Right again. Political is a valid answer.
Which part of a map helps you find the cardinal point of a place?
Right choice. Compass rose is the best answer.
We can find out the directions of a place with the help of a dash.
You chose compass, and it is correct. Dash shows physical or natural features on the Earth's surface. Great job! Physical map is the accurate answer. A secondary source is a document that was created the event.
Great thinking. After is the right choice.
Imaginary lines that run up and down on a globe are called what?
Excellent choice. Longitude is the right answer.
The use of symbols in a make it easier and simpler to read. Well done. True is the right choice.
The four major directions, north, south, west, and east, are called.
Solid response. Cardinal lines is a valid choice. A dash is a drawing mainly based on memory and spot observation.
Correct response. Sketch is the most accurate answer. What unit do we use to measure lines of latitude and longitude? You're right. Degrees is the correct answer. Maps showing natural features of the Earth are called what maps?
Bravo. Physical maps is the answer.
Large-scale maps give less information than small-scale maps. Nice selection. False is the correct and valid answer. The component dash gives a lot of information about the map. Clear logic. Your choice symbol is sound and 100% true.
The points in between the cardinal directions are called dash.
Exactly. Intermediate directions make sense, and it is right choice.
Maps showing cities, towns and villages are called what maps?
Excellent. Political map is a brilliant choice.
Since the Earth is round, all maps have some dash inaccuracy.
Perfect. Distortion is the correct choice.
Atlas is a Greek god who carries the Earth on his shoulders. Well picked. True is the correct answer.
What is the ratio between the actual distance on the ground?
Na.
Correct. Both scale and distance is the right answer.
Which one of these options describes someone who makes maps?
Nice work. You chose cartographer, and it is correct.
Atlas was a dash god who carried the world on his shoulders.
Sharp thinking. Greek is the right choice.
Which type of map shows you landforms and natural features? You got it. Your choice physical is right.
Which one of these is not one of the 4 features of maps?
Good job. Your answer context works well here.
A map showing boundaries of countries is what type of map?
Valid point. Political is true.
Which of the following is not among the cardinal direction?
Well picked. Northwest is the correct answer.
The study of the Earth and the way people live and use it? Perfect. Geography is the correct choice.
Which maps divides boundaries or borders and shows roads?
Great job. Political map is the accurate answer.
What helps us know which way is north, south, east, and west?
You chose a compass, and it is correct.
A shape on the Earth's surface, such as a mountain or hill.
Excellent. Landform is a brilliant choice. Dash shows the movement of people or goods across an area.
On track. Road map is the correct answer.
What do we use to find the location of something on a map?
Right choice. Grid system is the best answer.
Dash flat representation of all part of Earth's surface.
Smart pick. Map is the correct choice.
Dash shows political units, such as countries and states.
Solid response. Political map is a valid choice.
A dash is an instrument used to find out main directions.
Correct. Compass is the right answer.
Maps have a dash language that can be understood by all.
You got it. Your choice universal is right.
A dash tells you what each symbol on the map stands for.
Bravo. Legend is the answer.
Dash photo of the Earth taken from satellites in orbit.
Nice selection. Satellite image is the correct and valid answer.
How many components of maps are there, and what are they?
Great thinking. 3 distance, direction, and symbol is the right choice.
Which type of map shows you population characteristics?
Right again. Demographic is a valid answer.
A rough drawing drawn without scale is called a symbol.
You're right. False is the correct answer.
Which type of map shows you past situations or events?
Well done. Historic is the right choice.
Which part of a map lets you know the symbology in it?
Nice work. You chose key and it is correct.
What map feature tells you what the map symbols mean?
Exactly. Legend makes sense, and it is right choice.
The equator is said to be the hottest point on Earth.
Sharp thinking. True is the right choice.
A plan is a drawing of a small area on a large scale.
Good thinking. True is the right answer.
What map feature tells you what the map is showing?
Excellent choice. Title is the right answer.
The intersecting lines drawn on maps and globes are.
Strong choice. Geographic grids is the right answer.
Which of the landforms have the elevated structure?
Well reasoned. Plateaus is the correct choice.
A dash is a diagram of a compass showing direction.
Good job. Your answer, compass, Rose, works well here.
When large areas, like continents, are shown, we use.
Correct response. Small scale map is the most accurate answer.
What colors are used for the following mountains?
Smart move. Brown is an accurate answer.
What is used to explain the symbols used on a map?
Clear logic. Your choice map key is sound and 100% true.
A dash explains the symbols and shading on the map.
Nicely done. Map key is a solid answer.
Political maps show natural features of the Earth.
Sharp thinking. False is the right choice.
How are lines of longitude and latitude measured?
Excellent choice. Degrees is the right answer.
Some maps focus on specific information. They are.
Well reasoned. Thematic maps is the correct choice.
Dash give a lot of information in a limited space.
Well picked. Symbols is the correct answer.
The art of preparing maps is called cartography. Nicely done. Yes is a solid answer. Which among the following is a component of map?
Nice selection. All of the above is the correct and valid answer.
Which is the world's second smallest continent?
Valid point. Europe is true.
The equator is an example of what kind of line?
Solid response. Latitude is a valid choice.
A globe is used to study the Earth as a whole.
Strong choice. True is the right answer.
Which color is used to show mountains on map? Correct response. Brown is the most accurate answer.
Which map shows the mountains and lakes on it?
You're right. Physical map is the correct answer. Maps showing the distribution of forests are.
Correct. Thematic map is the right answer. Which of the following is tropical grassland?
You got it. Your choice, Savannah, is right.
A dash shows a larger area than the main map.
Smart pick. Locator map is the correct choice. A primary source is a dash account of a topic.
Right choice. First hand is the best answer.
A large-scale map covers large amount of area.
Good thinking. False is the right answer. Maps have a universal language called ASCII. Nice work. You chose conventional symbols, and it is correct. A parallel of latitude north of the equator. Right again. Tropic of Cancer is a valid answer.
Dash photo of the Earth taken from the air.
Smart move. Aerial photographs is an accurate answer.
Which one is not an intermediate direction?
Bravo. West is the answer. Ni si so are known as dash directions. You chose intermediate, and it is correct. Color brown is used to depict a dash in a map. Great job. Mountains and hills is the accurate answer.
What is a person who makes maps is called?
Perfect. A cartographer is the correct choice.
For what purpose magnetic compass is used?
Well done. For finding the directions is the right choice.
How many types of maps did we see in class?
On track 5 is the correct answer. Which part of the map show the directions?
Excellent. Compass rose is a brilliant choice.
Primary sources are documents without bias. Good job. Your answer false works well here. Which of these is not a secondary source? Great thinking. Artifact is the right choice. Lines of longitude run from dash to dash. Clear logic. Your choice north to south is sound and 100% true.
Lines of longitude are called meridians.
Exactly. True makes sense and it is right choice.
There are 4 intermediate directions.
Clear logic. Your choice true is sound and 100% true.
What are the 3 components of a map?
Bravo. Distance, direction, and symbols is the answer.
What can you find on nearly every map?
Excellent choice. Borders of countries is the right answer. The compass points at which direction?
Smart move. North-south is an accurate answer.
Cardinal points include the directions. Nice selection. North, south, east, west is the correct and valid answer. The art of map making is called dash-sesha. You got it. Your choice cartography is right. Color yellow on a map is used to show. Well reasoned. Plateaus is the correct choice.
Maps are more informative than a dash.
Perfect. Globe is the correct choice. In a sketch, match dash is not needed.
Right again. Scale is a valid answer.
Which one is not a component of a map?
Sharp thinking? Environment is the right choice. On which two hemispheres do we live?
Nicely done. Northern and Western is a solid answer.
Maps can be used to make an argument.
You're right. True is the correct answer.
Thematic maps are the maps that show.
Correct response. All of the above is the most accurate answer.
The blue color is used for showing.
You chose water supply, and it is correct.
Collection of maps is called a dash.
Good thinking. Atlas is the right answer. To build a school, one would need a. Great job. Plan is the accurate answer.
A person who makes maps is known as?
Excellent. Cartographer is a brilliant choice.
How many parts of a map did we see?
Strong choice. 7 is the right answer.
The art of making maps is known as?
Correct. Cartography is the right answer.
The art and science of making maps?
Well picked. Cartography is the correct answer.
There are dash components of maps.
Nice work. You chose 3 and it is correct.
Which map gives more information?
Right choice. Large-scale map is the best answer. Are maps more useful than globes?
Great thinking. Yes, is the right choice.
Brown color is used for showing. Good job.
Your answer mountains works well here.
Small-scale map shows dash area. On track. Smaller is the correct answer.
How many types of maps are there?
Valid point. 3 is true. There are dash major directions. Exactly. 4 makes sense, and it is right choice. What does TV with arrow show?
Smart pick. Direction of north is the correct choice.
The blue color in a map shows. Well done. Water is the right choice. A sketch is a drawing based on. Solid response. Memory is a valid choice.
Yellow color is used to show.
Good thinking. Plateau is the right answer.
Dash is a collection of maps.
Excellent. Atlas is a brilliant choice.
Dash provide more information.
Bravo. Large-scale maps is the answer. On track. Place to describe is the correct answer.
What's the purpose of a map? Solid response. Help you find places is a valid choice.
A map can be defined as a dash.
You got it. Your choice two-dimensional representation is right.
Political maps usually show
Exactly. States, countries make sense, and it is right choice.
A book of maps is called an
well picked. Atlas is the correct answer.
Universal language of maps.
Perfect. Conventional symbols is the correct choice.
a scale is compulsory for
Excellent choice. A map is the right answer.
dash is the symbol of dash.
Well reasoned. International boundary is the correct choice.
Political maps show dash.
Valid point. All of the above is true.
A scale is necessary for
Great job. A map is the accurate answer.
What does "ju" mean?
Strong choice. Earth is the right answer.
a compass is used to
Good job. Your answer find direction works well here.
Cardinal points are
Right choice. Major directions is the best answer.
Are all maps flat?
Nice selection. Yes is the correct and valid answer.
how you will get all these quiz questions in PDF books format.
Nice work. You chose Contact Narayan Changda on Facebook, and it is correct.